The new NFL season's second week brought generally blue skies around the league, and none brighter than at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, where many have jumped on the Chiefs bandwagon. Kansas City had reason to strut, for the team was coming off an opening day shutout of the Baltimore Colts, in which a very young defense dismantled dangerous Burt Jones and company in front of a grateful home audience. Despite the high hopes generated by their defense, however, Kansas City followers realized the Chiefs' major improvement must come from an air attack, which ranks dead last in the league, the same spot it finished in 1978. This is in contrast to one of the most impressive ground games in football. A good omen for Coach Marv Levy's wing tee today was that their opponents, the Cleveland Browns, though also victorious opening day, gave up well over 200 yards to the New York Jets on the ground. With Cleveland ranking dead last in defensing the run, it appeared that Scout, the Chiefs mascot, would have plenty of opportunities to showcase his touchdown trot. Owner Art Modell's Browns, like the Chiefs, are a team studded with youth. But unlike them, Cleveland is highly explosive on offense. Last year, Modell hired Sam Rutigliano, an offensive-minded coach, to lead the Browns. And with blue-chip players like Greg Pruitt and number 82 tight end Ozzie Newsome, as well as brainy Brian Sipe, and highly touted rookie Willis Adams, number 80, the Browns' attack is well-equipped to win. Two teams with unblemished records that only one could maintain. The Browns fired the first salvo by winning the toss, which gave them the chance to unleash the league's leading kick returner. In the inaugural against the Jets, speedster Keith Wright, number 89, set a team record, averaging a whopping 43 yards a return. But here the Chiefs knifed through his blocking wedge to stop Wright at the 25. The Browns wasted no time. According to Rutigliano, if you've got a big gun, fire it, and Cleveland did. Greg Pruitt burst through the middle on the first of what would be several long gains for him today. But the biggest play on Cleveland's first scoring drive of the day came when Brian Sipe went long, and number 44, Kansas City's cornerback Tim Collier, was called for interfering with Reggie Rucker. The result was a 31-yard gain to the Chiefs' 9 and the start of a tough day for Tim Collier. But inside the 10, the Chiefs' defense held strong, and on third down, a blitzing Whitney Paul, number 53, sacked Sipe for a loss. The fumble occurred after the whistle, so Cleveland settled for the all but certain field goal from Don Cockcroft. Cleveland was on the boards first, 3-0. The Browns' next offensive series began like the first, with Greg Pruitt ripping off another long journey through the Chiefs' defense. The Browns' ground game was overshadowing the Chiefs, but one man doesn't do it alone. On Pruitt's 26-yard sweep to the right, he got a perfect block from his pulling guard on the Chiefs' free safety, number 26, Gary Barbaro, while his fullback, Mike Pruitt, number 43, screened off the cornerback. The rest, Greg Pruitt did on his own. Number 34 is just one of two Pruitts in the Browns' backfield, now that Mike Pruitt, number 43, has taken hold of the fullback slot with his impressive power running. The Pruitt-Pruitt 1-2 punch brought the Browns to the Chiefs' 17, where Sipe lofted the ball over number 59, linebacker Gary Spanny, into the waiting arms of Reggie Rucker. Despite drafting speedsters like Keith Wright and Willis Adams, Cleveland discovered again there is no substitute for the finely tuned craftsmanship of a 10-year veteran, such as reliable Reggie Rucker, number 33. With two consecutive scoring drives, the Browns now led 10-0 at the end of period one. At the start of the second quarter, Mike Livingston unveiled the Chiefs' air arm, but was betrayed by a wide-open J.T. Smith, number 86. Because of Smith's drop, the Chiefs had to wait until the second series to finally move the ball against the Browns. They did it on Livingston's play-action pass to number 89, Henry Marshall, good for 21 yards, and the first sizable Chief gain of the afternoon. But after moving into Cleveland territory for the first time, a strong pass rush by number 77, Lyle Alzado, hurried Livingston into throwing directly at Clarence Scott, number 22, whose interception and 25-yard return brought the Browns safely out of danger. Cleveland's strategy was to force Kansas City to pass, something they don't do well. To accomplish this, the Browns' defense had to stop them at their strength, the run. This was the key to this entire football game. Marv Levy's run-oriented wing T running directly at the Browns' standard 4-3. And the Cleveland defense won hands down throughout the first half. With Kansas City robbed of their chief threat, the run, and forced to pass, Cleveland brought a linebacker, usually Clay Matthews, number 57, up to the line to blitz. Livingston, with hands flying in his face, was hurried innumerable times, in addition to suffering 3 sacks. The Browns, in the meantime, were having none of Kansas City's difficulties moving the ball on offense. After a brief second quarter lull, they constructed a lengthy drive, again started by the flying feet of Greg Pruitt. In this series, Brian Sipe mixed his play selection beautifully, employing not only the Pruitts, but number 30, Cleo Miller, a former starter who wreaked revenge on the Chiefs, his former team. Brian even pulled out the old bootleg play on which he picked up considerable yardage before discreetly going down. Having set up the Kansas City defense with the run and swing pass, Sipe went for the deep 6 to Rucker down the right sideline. But the Chiefs were with him stride for stride. Thwarted on the bomb, Sipe took what was given him over the middle. Number 82, Ozzie Newsome, bowled for 20 to the Chiefs' 20-yard line. But the tight end has speed as well as strength. And on the next play, Newsome went for the flag and got it. Ozzie Newsome's diving catch demonstrated why Bear Bryant nicknamed him the Wizard of Oz at Alabama, and the touchdown put the Browns up on the Chiefs 17-0. At this point, Marv Levy made a change, benching Mike Livingston, who had hit on just 2 of 10 passes for 26 yards. His replacement was number 4, number 1 draft choice Steve Fuller from Clemson, a quarterback many feel is perfect for the Levy run-oriented wing team. At 6 feet 4 inches tall, Fuller is rangy enough to run with the ball. But here, with his team trailing badly, he was simply a sitting duck for former All-Pro tackle Jerry Shirk, number 72, who apparently has recovered from some very bad knee surgery. Number 74, Mike St. Clair's end zone romp came after the whistle, but it appeared to matter very little. With a well-oiled offense, a defense that dismantled the best running attack in football, and the prospects of facing a raw rookie at quarterback for the remainder of the game, the Browns' 17-0 halftime lead seemed like a sure thing. Cleveland had welcomed rookie Steve Fuller to the National Football League. and was eager for his indoctrination to continue. As the Browns returned to begin the second half, they had to feel pretty good about the way things were going. The Cleveland defense had allowed only 46 net yards and 4 first downs in shutting the Chiefs out in the first half. Kansas City needed offense in a hurry, and Coach Marv Levy felt the best results would come by sticking with rookie Steve Fuller at quarterback. Fuller's first call was a familiar one. Fullback McKnight blocks down. Upfield, guard Tom Condon clears out, and running back Horace Felton has room to go. But the Chiefs' running game, the pride of their offense, would have to settle for that as their longest run of the day. For the rest of the game, the Browns pretty much clipped the wings off the wing T running design. Meanwhile, Brian Sipe was up to his old tricks as he found the medium-range pass to be a profitable one. Sipe mixed 2 good gains to Dave Logan and Ozzie Newsome with short running plays to set up a cozy field goal for kicker Don Cockroft. After the conversion, the score stood at 20-0, and with just moments to go in the third quarter, things looked pretty bleak for the Kansas City Chiefs. But then came the first of 3 big plays that would turn an apparent rout into a cliffhanger. Cockroft's kickoff was taken by Steve Gaudy, number 83. The rookie out of northern Colorado provided the first spark to what would become an exciting Kansas City comeback. Gaudy's 50-yard return ignited the Chiefs. Fuller then decided to open things up by going to wide receiver J.T. Smith, number 86. Once inside the 20, Fuller called on Smith again, and the second-year man from North Texas State responded with his first touchdown catch as a pro. A repeat of the play shows that for the first time all day, the Kansas City front wall was protecting Fuller, giving him time to spot Smith, who split the seam of the Brown zone for the score. The Chiefs have one of the youngest teams in the league, so they are prone to being swept by emotion easily. At the moment, it was proving to be advantageous as the defense stormed out of the blocks towards Sipe with a new intensity. The whole tide of momentum seemed to be shifting toward Kansas City, but Browns punter Johnny Evans cooled things temporarily with a high, towering kick that pinned the Chiefs back inside their own 20. But this didn't seem to bother Fuller or his teammates. The young quarterback came out throwing, and the Browns, who had never seen Fuller in action until this game, were unable to stop him. His mobility helped get him out of jams that might have bothered the veteran Livingston. Fuller attempted 5 passes and completed all 5 on the march. But when the Chiefs got near the goal line, they fell back on the reliable running talents of Tony Reed, number 32. He did not disappoint. Last year, Reed became only the second player in team history to enjoy a 1,000-yard season, and he flashed that form on this score. The quick darting steps coupled with surprising power. Now nearly 9 minutes remain to be played, and the Chiefs, dead as doornails only moments before, were right back in it. Coming up would be the second of 3 big breaks that would aid Kansas City in their comeback. Sipe successfully found Dave Logan for a completion, but from then on, Cleveland fortunes went downhill. Gary Barbaro alertly scooped up the fumble to give the Chiefs possession. A replay shows that the telling blow on Logan was delivered by the second man in, linebacker Thomas Howard, number 52. Sensing the chance for a quick strike, Fuller and the offensive unit went for the marbles on their very first play. Fuller spotted number 89, Henry Marshall, in the end zone, but the catch was ruled out of bounds. Despite Marshall's most persuasive arguments, the decision was not reversed, much to the Chiefs' chagrin. But Fuller decided to keep the passing spree going. Unfortunately, a problem from the first half came back to haunt the Chiefs here in the second. Run-happy Kansas City just wasn't used to this much passing, and in this case, it showed. But it would take much more than drop passes to cool off Steve Fuller. He threw on 5 consecutive downs, including a 4th and 7 situation, which kept the drive alive. Then, reverting to previous form, Fuller called on the runners. This time it was number 22, Ted McKnight, doing the honors. And suddenly a new team was ahead in the ballgame. Chiefs 21, Browns 20. Chief fans were in a frenzy now, but the noise level reached eardrum-shattering proportions right afterward, on Cleveland's first play from scrimmage, when the last of Kansas City's 3 key plays occurred. Tim Collier's interception gave Kansas City the ball on the Cleveland 25. Another touchdown would probably finish the Browns for good, and the Chiefs came within a whisker of getting that touchdown. Once more, a dropped pass was damaging to the Chiefs. The Browns held firmly, so Kansas City had to settle for a field goal from veteran place kicker Jan Stenerud. The kick was good, and it widened the Kansas City lead to 4. But this meant that a Cleveland touchdown could still win the ballgame. With 2:19 left to play, Brian Sipe took over on the Browns' 24-yard line, then proceeded to put together another Cleveland photo finish. Sipe completed 3 in a row, including this 27-yarder to Greg Pruitt. His next 2 efforts were incomplete, but of greater importance was what happened after this attempt to Pruitt in the end zone. Pruitt and Tim Collier had some disagreement after the play was blown dead. Following a brief scuffle in which neither player was in any danger of hurting the other, both were tossed out of the game. Many felt then that the loss of key offensive weapon Pruitt would hurt the Browns in their final desperation drive. It turned out not to make any difference. Brian Sipe and Wiley pro Reggie Rucker had a plan of their own to pull out a win, and they proceeded to do it. The cardiac Cleveland Browns had done it again. For the second time in 2 weeks, they had pulled off an electrifying comeback victory. In less than 2 minutes, Brian Sipe had marched the Browns almost 80 yards for the score, and had done it against a tough young defense in an unfriendly stadium. A repeat from up top shows that Sipe had time to throw, and Rucker had found the crease in the zone to beat the Chiefs defenders. The Browns were now back on top 27-24, but it wasn't time to break out the hats and horns just yet. Kansas City still had one more chance, but then veteran Cleveland tackle Jerry Shirk administered last rites on those chances to wrap up the game. It had been as stirring a win for Cleveland as it had been a heartbreaking loss for the Chiefs. Young Steve Fuller had played exceptionally well in his first regular season game and had much to be proud of. He gained many new admirers, including Cleveland coach Sam Ratigliano, who had nothing but praise for both quarterbacks, Fuller and his own Brian Sipe. So for the Cleveland Browns, it was another day at the office. The usual last-second theatrics. So far in 1979, they're 2 for 2. And the Browns and their fans wouldn't mind adding more thrilling victories to that total.